Hi everyone, welcome to another Thursday afternoon and welcome to episode number 30 of How to HR. Hi, I'm Kristy-Lee. I'm your host of this weekly video series where we bring you a strategy, tactic, tip or tool that's going to assist you in building an amazing team and helping you run the HR aspect of your small to medium-sized business. I do hope whatever you're up to, you are having a fabulous week. I am still in lockdown, week 7, powering through. I think half of New South Wales is in lockdown at the moment, to be fair. So if that's you, I hope you're doing okay. I know it's been a really tough period of time for many businesses, especially those that cannot operate right now. So really thinking of you. I know it is incredibly difficult time as well. So other than that, I hope the rest of you are doing well. On today's episode of How to HR, I'm bringing you a little framework that was recently shared on our podcast, which is the People Powered Business Podcast, if you're not familiar with the podcast. So the People Powered Business Podcast is a weekly podcast that we've been producing for well over a year now, about 18 months, where we talk about anything to do with the people aspect of your business, whether that's about finding the right people, engaging your team, navigating the complexities of hybrid and remote work, or absolutely anything else when it comes to HR and the people aspects of your business. Now, really recently on the podcast, I had the pleasure of interviewing Loretta Hart, who is a business coach and happiness seeker who works with particularly women in business around helping them find their purpose and really find their message in their business. Now, in this episode of the podcast, Loretta shared with us a framework that she refers to as the 5 people, I'm using my hand because if you listen to the podcast, you'll know why, the 5 people that you should surround yourself with in business. So I thought it was a really interesting discussion because whilst we spend a lot of the time, both here in How to HR and on the podcast and in the world of work that I do, talking about the people that we employ, our employees, our team, and how we can find the right people, leverage them to get the most out of them, keep them engaged and motivated and rewarded and all of those kind of things. We don't often talk about the people that we might want to be around as business owners. And the reality is when you own a business, sometimes it can get a little bit lonely in terms of having people around you that really get what you're going through. They get what it's about to be in the weeds when it comes to running a business, the highs and the lows and the roller coasters and all those kind of things. And so in this podcast episode that's just been released this week, Loretta shared a framework for the 5 people we should be all surrounding ourselves with to help make this journey of business as positive as it possibly can be. And it was really interesting because as I was I didn't know this framework before she shared it on the podcast. So as I was interviewing her, I was learning this framework just like it would be if you were listening to the podcast. And I found it really interesting because I found myself reflecting on whether I've got this person, this role in my life, I guess, or in around me. And it also caused me to reflect on times in my business journey. And I've had my business for 15 years now, so had a bit of time to test and retest. When I haven't had perhaps one or more of these roles really filled, I guess you could say, and what impact that had on my headspace, my business, my trajectory, my productivity, my success. And I think actually this framework is really clever. And that's why I wanted to talk to you about it today on How to HR. So this is a little deviation from talking about our team to talking about the people we want to surround ourselves with as business owners, because it's all about the people, whether they're the guides and the mentors that we seek advice from, whether it's the people we choose to engage in training from. Just last weekend, I was involved in a 3-day live online conference because obviously nothing's in person these days, but it was being run out of Canada. So it was like 1 a.m. start our time. But there are a number of mentors I could learn this particular skill set from. But I've chosen this particular mentor because of various things, not only his energy and his enthusiasm, but also his structure and the way he works things. So we really do get to choose the people that we surround ourselves with in business, the people we learn from, get guidance from, people that support us. We have a choice in all of those people. And if you've been in business any length of time, you'll know that when the wrong people are around you, it has a really immediate impact on you as an individual, on how you're running your business. Perhaps you lose clarity and lose a sense of direction. All sorts of things can happen. So I really enjoyed this chat with Loretta, and I really enjoyed this framework that she shared because I actually found that when I thought about it all as she went through them, that if you do get these 5 roles effectively filled and these people around you, things will hum along. And I did reflect on the fact that when I did have all these right people around me, things did and do really hum along. So let's talk about who these 5 people are that suggest that we surround ourselves with in business. Now, the first is your peers or a peer. Now, these are the people that actually get it when it comes to running a business. So you probably have realized by now that your family and probably also your friend network when you get into business don't get it. If they're in corporate jobs or they're employees, running a business is a whole different ballgame. And so the struggles that you might want to vent at or the successes you might want to celebrate, no matter how hard they try, how winning they are, they just don't really quite get it. So the first type of people you need around you, and I actually think this is not one person, I think this is a group of people, is peers. People that are going through the same journey, not the same exact journey, business journey, because they get it. For me, I have a group of girlfriends that I catch up with who all run their own businesses. None of us are in even remotely similar industries, but we get it. We get that whatever struggle's going on is going on. We get the excitement when something's gone right. We can say, yeah, I tried that as well, it didn't work either. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We actually just get it. There's no judgment. There's no sense of competition. We just get each other. And I think that group can not always be the easiest to find, especially if you're newer in business, but surrounding yourself with some peers that actually get the business journey, super important. It doesn't have to be people you've met through business. This could be other people you know through your kids' school who also run businesses. It doesn't matter. People that just get the journey that you're on. The second type of person that Loretta feels we should surround ourselves with is a cheerleader, someone that will give us praise and excitedly work with us no matter what. They think that you are awesome and will constantly lift you up in that way. Now, this is not a natural default for most of us entrepreneurs to find this kind of person. And Loretta actually says in the podcast, if your spouse doesn't have a role by the end of this, make them the cheerleader. I think that will work in our house. But I do think it is good to have someone that just thinks whatever you do is amazing from a positivity perspective. Not always the easiest one for us to go out and seek to fill, but it is a positive influence to have around you. Now, the third person that we talk about is the accountant. And I'm not talking about your actual accountant, not your CPA or your CA, not the person who BAS and tax return. I'm talking about an accountability buddy, someone that will keep you accountable to what you say you are going to do. This could be a business coach or business mentor, but you'll hear me refer to one of those terms in just a moment. It doesn't matter who it is. You could be part of an accountability group. The conference I just referred to that I attended on the weekend, lots of people who participate in that conference are part of accountability groups, so smaller groups that get together to keep each other accountable for the implementation of what we learn inside that particular program. So they focus on just that, not any other area of business, but they keep each other accountable to their progress in that space. So it could be one or a group of people that are going to keep you accountable. It could be definitely accountability groups are very popular. It could be just someone, and this could be your spouse as well, that you say, hey, I need you to be this person. I need you to make sure I'm doing what I say I'm going to do, and give them that responsibility to get, to have that conversation with you. So someone to keep you accountable. The fourth person, which I almost already referred to, is a mentor. Now, interestingly, many of you might have a one-on-one mentor, and they do, say that that's something that all successful leaders do, is have and rely on mentors throughout their journey. But if you don't have a mentor right now, it doesn't actually have to be someone you've got a one-on-one relationship with. The mentor role could be filled by someone that you look up to, that you're inspired by, where you're following their journey. They've walked in your footsteps already and you are following them along that path. So someone you're learning from, possibly virtually. It could be someone where you're reading their books and their works and you're feeling inspired and mentored by them, even though you have no direct relationship with them. So it doesn't have to be a one-on-one mentoring relationship, although it also could be. Now, interestingly, one person might fill a role for you. And I know for me, my business mentor is also definitely part of my accountability core people, because I won't turn up to a meeting with my mentor if the things I would have done at the previous meeting aren't done. It does give me a nice little kick up the backside every so often. So you could have someone doing two roles, absolutely. And the final type of person that this talks about us surrounding ourselves with is our tribe. Now, finding your tribe might take a little bit of time. It definitely took me some time in my business journey to find my tribe. I went to more uncomfortable and boring networking events than I care to mention, where I felt like I was the youngest person in the room by a billion years and the only female at the time. I went to networking events where, you know, when you walk in and these are just not your people. Yeah, nothing against them. They're great people. These are just not your tribe. It did take me a while to find my tribe and to be okay with the fact that I didn't have to keep looking and trying to find something else that other people thought was more traditionally what your tribe should look like, but to find your tribe, the people who are your kind of people, may or may not be on the same business journey as you. This could be your core group of girlfriends that you love and adore. That could be your tribe. This doesn't have to be, this could be your footy team. It could be any group, but find your tribe, the people that always have your back, aren't going to BS and tell you that things are when they're not. They're going to be real. People you can go to when you need to vent or need advice. Your tribe. Not always easy to find, but important. So let's recap. These 5 people Loretta talks about in the podcast interview: your peers, your cheerleaders, your accountability partners, your mentors, and your tribe. And I think if you think about it, if you've been in business any length of time, if you've got all those 5 areas covered in terms of those people being around you, you are in a really, really solid place. You have places to go when you've got a problem. You've got people that are going to make sure you're accountable for what you say you were going to do. You've got someone to help guide you and for you to take vision and inspiration from to help you on your path. And you've got someone that's going to always support you no matter what's going on and no matter how terrible that last thing you did was. So I can absolutely see how Loretta's come up with this framework, and I think it's really interesting. So I wanted to share it with you here on How to HR today. Now, I would love to hear from you. If you've got someone or a type of person that you think it's really important to surround yourself with in business, I'd love for you to let me know. Pop a comment under today's video and let me know what kind of person that is just been, so important to your business journey. As your team grows, one person I would definitely encourage you to have around you is a 2IC, someone who you can start to delegate things to. If you hit a team of 11 or more and everyone's still reporting to you, 2IC, that's your next go-to. I call them like a point guard, like a buffer person. They're the person that's going to start to create this distance between you and everyone else so that not everything is on your shoulders. So as your business grows, that role is going to be super important to your business. So there might be a whole range of people that you find really important to have around you. I'd love for you to let me know. Please pop a comment under today's video. That's it for me for today. I hope you're having a wonderful week. I'll be back next week for a more traditional episode of How to HR, back in the normal mix of things. If there's a topic you would like me to cover, if there is a question you would like me to answer on a future episode of How to HR, again, please let me know. Pop a comment below this video. I'll pick up on that and make sure it is covered really soon for you. So everyone, have a fabulous week, and I can't wait to see you again next Thursday.